Can you write on yours while I'm sharing mine is my question? Yes? Okay. I know your screens are small, so I just want to make sure I'm not taking over your whole screen by doing this. So what kind of triangle is this? What do I know about this triangle? What do these two congruent lines mean? Those two are equal, so it's isosceles, right? I've got two equal sides. That means they're isosceles, which means that these angles opposite them. So if I draw a line straight through the triangle, kind of like a line of symmetry, but it's not quite a line of symmetry in isosceles triangle, those two angles are 52 degrees. Okay. So can I figure out angle A with triangle sum? What should all three of those angles add up to be? 180. So if we do 52 plus 52, we get 104, right? I want you to write this on your slide while I'm writing it on mine. And then I do 180 minus 104, and I get what? 180 minus 104. $180 minus 104. Anybody? 76. Thank you. So without doing all of that math, there's no real way to tell with 100% certainty what kind of angles we've got. But now that we've calculated that, what kind of angles do we have? Is this an acute triangle, an obtuse triangle, a right triangle, or an equiangular triangle? Acute, for sure, because they're all smaller than 90 degrees, right? Okay, so this is acute isosceles, but we had to do some math in order to determine that with 100% certainty. What about triangle 3? Do we have a picture here for triangle DOG? There's no picture. Guys, if you do not have a picture, the very first thing I want you to do is sketch one, okay? I don't worry about it being drawn to scale. I usually just draw kind of an equilateral triangle and then label stuff. So I'm going to label DOG going clockwise. It doesn't really matter how you label it. But it says angle D is 25. So I got to put my 25 here. And I really do want you to do this with me. So you should have your screen split or be toggling back and forth between tabs so you can see what's on my screen and then make it look like that on yours. You really do need these notes, okay? And then angle G is 53 degrees. 53 degrees. So how do I calculate angle O? Add them and subtract from 180, question mark? So let's do that now. We can do 25 plus 53 equals 78. And then 180 minus 78 is going to give me what? 102. 102. So even though that doesn't look like a 102-degree angle, our math tells us that it is. So what kind of triangle do I have here? Obtuse. And then is it scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? Do I have 3 sides that are the same, 2 sides that are the same, or no sides that are the same? I'm going to tell you it is none, absolutely, and your instincts are good. If I have 3 angles that are different, I have 3 sides that are different. And in a couple of days, we'll learn exactly why that is. But for right now, just trust me, if all 3 angles are different, then all 3 sides are different. So I didn't have a sketch. I needed to make one. I didn't have that 3rd angle. I needed to calculate it. If you don't go through those 2 steps, you're not going to get these simple classification questions correct, okay? That's kind of what we're trying to get you to do by answering these questions is make the drawings. Triangle CAT is right and scalene, okay? So the first direction says draw it. So I'm going to draw a right triangle. I'm not going to label it quite yet. I'm going to keep reading. So label it, but know that one of those angles is going to be right. I just don't know which one. It's scalene, so all three sides are different. Label it CAT so that the acute angles C and A. So I've got an angle of C and an angle of A. That means the right angle has to be T, okay? Because it says the acute angles C and A measure 3x and 25. So I'm going to skip question 2 for a second and go down to question 3 because it seems easier to me. Which angle is 90 degrees? The one on the lower left. And what did I label that? The top left is C, the bottom right is A, and the right angle is T. Guys, you do not have to answer my questions in order. Do the ones that are easiest first, okay? What equation can I write here? Because there are a couple of different equations I could write. I want to solve for x. So what do I know about those angles? Yeah, Leah. 3x plus 90 plus 25 equals 180. Fantastic. Anybody got another idea of an equation I could write? Say it again, Victoria. Yeah, so we could add 90 and 25 and save ourselves a step. We could do 3x plus, and I can kind of do that in my head if I'm careful, is that 115 equals 180. So I can save a step. That would be the next step in Leah's equation. What's one more equation I could write? Anybody got an equation that equals 90 degrees? If I know that this angle is 90 degrees, what do these two angles together have to be? Also 90 degrees. So could I just write 3x plus 25? All three of those equations will work 100% every time. Okay, if you have a right triangle and you know that one of the angles is 90, then these other two angles have to equal 90. And in every triangle, no matter what kind of angles, they're going to add up to 180. So all you have to do is solve for x. You got to solve one of those equations. So I want you to take time right now and solve one of those equations. I don't care which one, just solve one of them. I got a very strange answer. But I guess it's right. What'd you get for an answer? What's x equal? Anybody? I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. So 3x equals, I don't remember what it equaled, 65. And then divide by 3. My toolbar is hiding. I can't open your chats. There it goes. We get 21.67, 21 and 2/3. Question mark? Can I get confirmation? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. We got to make sure we can solve these equations. Explain why there can never be two right angles in a triangle. So why can there not be two right angles in a triangle? Just unmute yourself and explain.
Because then with the third angle added in, it'd be more than 180. So the triangle is 180.
Exactly. 90 plus 90 plus any other angle is going to be more than 180. Okay. Can't have two right angles, can't have two obtuse angles. That's basically the same explanation from the homework with two obtuse angles. Okay, make sure you write something in there. This is the last one for this. This was one of the homework questions that I think troubles most people most of the time. I tried to color code it so it looked a little easier to look at. ABE is that yellow triangle. What two words would you use to describe that? What two words? Put it in the chat. What two words would you use to describe the yellow triangle? Scalene, I love it. It's scalene because all three sides are different. And it is right because I've got a right angle right here. I'm always tempted to say that one's acute, but it is right and scalene. What about BEC, that light blue triangle? I think we were told that these were all 5, and this was 2, and this was 7. So BEC is tricky, tricky, tricky. If BE is 7, and this green one is 5, 5, 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, which means BE and EC are congruent, which means it is isosceles. And then is it acute, obtuse, right, or equiangular, that obtuse triangle? Acute. Perfect. What about the green one? I don't take off for spelling, by the way, as you can tell from my craziness. Equilateral. So equiangular and equilateral, right? So that brings us to the white triangle, and the white triangle is super nutty too. I'm going to erase all of this stuff for a second. If you know that the green triangle, love it, is equilateral and equiangular, then all of those angles are exactly the same, right? What are each of the angles inside that green equilateral triangle? What do they measure? They have to add up to 180, and they're all congruent. How do I figure out what each of those angles is? It is 60. So 180 divided by 3 is 60, right? And then I've got this straight line here. So this angle has to be the supplement of 60. They have to add up to 180, which means that one's got to be 120. So even though it looks like this is obtuse, we can actually prove that it is obtuse. And all of those sides are different. We were told this one is 2 and this one was 5. And with an obtuse angle, we've got 3 angles that are different. So we've got 3 sides that are different. So that guy is scalene. Okay, question on those? That should help with the homework and the warm-up. Before the end of class, we'll go back and look at that. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and see if Schoology is back up. But it looks like it's still down, maybe. We've got another pear deck we can do just to make sure. Make sure you have something written down on all of those slides. So we reviewed, I don't know that well, maybe we'll do this real fast. All right, so look in Schoology. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we know what we're talking about. Share this one. I don't know if you guys can open this or not, but I'm going to put you in breakout rooms of 3. And I want I want you to decide who's going to be player 1, who's going to be player 2, who's going to be player 3. Okay. And then you're each going to go do your one problem. So player 1 is going to do A, player 2 is going to do B, player 3 is going to do C. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to do 4 problems. Okay, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So you might have to make a copy of this. So I'll put it in the chat, but you might need to make a copy of it. Let's see if that lets you make a copy of it. You click on that link, can you open it? Does it force you to make a copy? Yeah. So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms of 3. There are 19 of us. So I'm going to do 6. It's going to be random. So once you get in your breakout rooms, just choose who's going to be player 1, 2, 3, and do that one problem. And then compare your answers. You're going to have to talk to each other or put it in the chat. Okay. And I'll give you 10 minutes to do those 4 problems. All right.